Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Zielonka. It is May, and we have a lot in store for us today. Just got done during the pre-show selling our monthly soup allotment. And now it is, well, we got some parsnip planting to do over there. But I wanted to, I wanted to take care of some weeds before we got into parsnip planting. And I wanted to do a little fertilizing tonight. Took out a couple of fertilizing contracts. So we'll try to kick up a little bit of money there for fertilizing contracts. We're still kind of suffering for cash. But we have been adding a lot of equipment to the farm. Just drive over our parsnips. They won't mind. And I wanted to ask you all about weeds. And if you are planting the new crops, if you are seeing weed growth like you would expect, because I'm a little curious on my weed growth. Now I've got precision farming not activated. We're playing non-precision farming. And if we come over here to our weeds, right? And we toggle our weeds. Look, we only have I only have weeds on these 3 fields. And those 3 fields are my sorghum fields. All of these fields were power harrowed, or sorry, disked. So they all had a stubble tillage. So they all should be pumping out weeds like there's no tomorrow. But I have no weeds on my potatoes. I did not plow this. I have no weeds on my carrots. I did not plow those. All the fields were stubble tillage before we started planting. But I only have weeds up here on these 3 fields where I planted my grain. Not what I was really expecting. Now we'll see, maybe weeds will pop next month. I don't know. I turned off stones and I turned off plowing on this save because I got tired of seeing the need plowing. I wouldn't have thought that my turning off and need plowing would have done anything, but who knows. Usually I just ignore the plowing. Jay, sir, Parsnips are running for election next year? I would love to have your support. Your support will go a long way in helping us achieve our goal of having a parsnip-controlled Congress. We gotta get those carrots out of there. They are just making it terrible for everyone. Life Hawk, welcome. The infamous. How's it going? I mean, I don't know. What kind of desserts can you make with a parsnip parfait? Maybe. I'm not eating it, but that's possible. It's possible you could do a parsnip parfait. Rabbit Rob, he likes himself some mashed carrots. And last time I saw Jacer, he had his hand in a pickled egg jar that was just purple with beet juice. You could say he was caught red-handed. Does this work? Oh, my sound effects are broken. You know my opinion on pie. The best pie isn't even a pie, it's technically a cake. That would be Boston cream pie. It's a problem when the best pie is a cake. Seriously. See, the best pie is a cake. Now, peanut butter pie is pretty darn good. I'll go for that. But why on earth is pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie? Why is it the same? It looks the same. How do you know the difference? I don't know, but see, plowing should just make weeds not appear. Right? Disabling the need plow state. I disabled them. I feel like I disabled need plowing when I was doing the potatoes. So the red beets should have been planted with plowing turned off. This sorghum was definitely planted with plowing turned off. No, meringue is nasty. That's the stuff you just scrape right off into the trash can. I'm very particular with my desserts, and fruit should never be cooked. That's a rule. It's a rule I live by. Fruit should never be cooked. The only exception to fruit should never be cooked is the fact that you technically have to cook fruit in order to get a jelly. Fruit can only be cooked if it's made into a jelly or a preserve. No cherry pie, no apple pie, no peach cobbler, no apple crisp. Strawberry jelly? Yes. Yes. Alright, that should be all my no more weeds. No more weeds. Oops. Alright. Herbicide done. Let's grab our fertilizer. We got some more fields to fertilize. Hey, deep fried turkey is awesome. I'll serve you the best parsnip parfait known to man. Okay? You have never had a parsnip parfait until you had one from my kitchen. But I was really expecting, I was expecting to have to use my hoe on this field. But nope. Turns out I don't need to. I don't know, Stuart. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll get weeds in a later growth cycle. I just have to keep an eye out on them. Right, because typically with your grain crops, you get weeds upon first growth. And I'll have you know, Jason, I had some of that turkey tonight. It was good. Alright, so we're gonna fertilize our potatoes, our red beets, and our sorghum. Then we're gonna do a couple fertilizing contracts, and then get back to our parsnip planting. Oh, zoop! Sounds good. Sounds good. The wife's got this awesome recipe for turkey tetrazzini. Except the recipe makes like 10 pounds of it. Or maybe more. Like, it's a giant casserole dish. But it easily serves 8 people. This recipe. But it's an excellent way of getting rid of a lot of leftover turkey. Awesome. Hopefully we'll make it later this week. Hopefully she can figure out how to freeze it. So then we can just whip it out and have it later on. We can't ship food across country borders. It's some weird regulation. So pretty much you're just gonna have to come down here and eat it. Mojo Jojo. Leftover turkeys when you have a 19-pound bird. And there's only like 6 people eating it. You end up with a fair amount of leftover turkey. I'll tell you what, some other turkeys that are here That's Farmer G and the 901 Meister. They are turkeys of a different kind. They are farm barons. Thank you for being a farm baron. Thank you all for supporting the channel. If you don't know how to become a farm baron, well, check the join button down below the video. Give you all the information you need to know about how to become channel members. You'll get a nice little trophy next to your name, or what the heck? What am I stuck on? Or medal. You also get some really nice, awesome emotes, emojis. I don't know why we started talking about this at work today, but imagine a world where passwords were emojis, or where people could make passwords with emojis. I don't know, maybe that's a thing now and I'm just too old. Right? Oh, my bank password is, you know, smiley face emoji, poop emoji, and then, you know, cat dog emoji. Yeah, let's try to be realistic and drive between the rows. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Oh, look at that! Look at that realism. We're driving between the rows, right? We don't want to smash our red beets. Free down arrow emojis. That's the that's representing your bank account. Oh, left talk. I think you put two words in a period. No space. It thinks it's a link. Artemis, what is up, sir? What is up? So yeah, maybe the hip kids use emotes as their passwords now. But us non-cool hip people use letters and numbers. Oh. Oh, I don't think the spacing worked out. Nope. Spacing didn't work out for us on this trip. We're driving over a plant. Does anybody have any great Cyber Monday deals? I don't even think there is such a thing as a Cyber Monday deal anymore. Everybody wants to be the first to have their Black Friday deal, so there was Black Friday deals last week. That's not Black Friday, people. Oh, it's not Lent, Jacer. You can't give up PC gaming in November. It doesn't count. Was the computer bad? Did you have to put it in timeout? Like it's grounded? I mean, my computer's grounded. And it's very happy for that when we have electrical storms. Are you making margaritas with your blender? Because that would be awesome. Oh, we don't want Schultz to know anything. He comes up with projects. I think he should take you out for a nice steak dinner. One of those Wagyu steak dinners. That fancy, expensive Japanese meat. I think everyone that thinks that should just put a thumbs up in chat. If you agree to that, put a thumbs up in chat. Then we'll tell Schultz when he gets here. But one, he's late. And two, he owes you a fancy Japanese steak dinner. Well, I mean, it's not all that bad. As long as the butcher doesn't find out. I mean, it's just, he's really scary. And he has a way of making you become deleted. Oh, I know, right? Where's the sales, Black Friday sales on food? See, I don't have my variable width set. Oh, Control Z. Maybe I do. Oh, shoot. There, okay, we'll do that. I don't know why, but I had key binding set to narrow and grow the left and right variable width, but they keep going away. Not really. I mean, it's not really that bad. It's not worth going back and trying to pick up. Well, I think that's everywhere now, David. Is everywhere is Black Friday's like a week long or longer. You know, I mean, Cyber Monday came about because most people didn't have internet at home. They only had access to the internet at work. So Cyber Monday was the Monday, the first working Monday after Thanksgiving. At least here in the States. That's where it came about, right? But now Cyber Monday can be any day because the internet's so prevalent everywhere. Right? When it first came about, you didn't have internet on your phone. You couldn't be sitting on the toilet and browse in the Amazon. Right? If you wanted to go to the Amazon, you either had dial-up at home or you did it when your boss wasn't looking at work. But now it's not a problem anymore. Oh, Keegan, I'm not a slave to the max shield. Farming's my chill. I just want to chill out, right? Close enough is good enough. Any more than that, and it just becomes too stressful. Why is that not? Why are we not getting any? iOS says 50%. Oh. Okay. I don't know why the weed layer was obscuring the fertilization, but okay. We'll live with it. The Dark Zone Gaming, sir. Welcome. Welcome. Alright, so I think we got enough people in here. I want to ask you all a serious question. Alright, it's time to get serious here. Let's all sit in our chairs with our feet flat, knees together, put your palms down on the desk, eyes forward, lips shut. I need to ask you a serious question. I expect serious answers, or I will be bringing the ruler out, and my ruler is reinforced with steel. Okay, now that we're all ready, I was entertaining the... No, the answer is not 42. I was entertaining the idea, and I want your all's serious, honest opinion. Up to this point, I have not messed with or really thought about something like a Patreon. But, I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day. And just want to know what y'all think. If I would look into that. I know that from time to time, people ask. And up to this point, I had kind of just said, nah, we're not doing that. Oh, it would be so awesome if this was running water, not just standing water. You know? The future looks murky like the water in that river. Maybe we could have, like, you know, the stork level. I tell you what, the Mississippi is awful murky over on UMRV. Well, you know, the abuse is with modders who are trying to skirt Giants' terms of service with respect to not monetizing their mods. And what they're not They don't think these things through. And it reminds me of a video I saw just today on the Tube of You about apparently there's, I'm pretty sure this is in Australia. Apparently there's protests about oil, right? Stop big oil, stop oil production, stop oil, basically, you know, save the world, don't do oil. And they were protesting in the streets, you know, stopping traffic. And I guess somebody, bystander, maybe somebody in the car, got a little tired of it, and they basically went off on the protesters. And it was a quite funny video. And they're basically like, what are you even doing here? You're blocking traffic. You got all these people in cars burning oil because you're blocking traffic. So, right? Like, you're promoting burning what you are supposedly trying to save. And then, you know, he was like, what about all your clothes? Your clothes are made with oil. How do you think your clothes got to the store? Right? What about your food? Where'd your food come from? How do you think your food got to the store? Oil. Right? What are you doing? They're basically like, if you want to do something about save the world, then just pack your stuff up and go live in the woods somewhere. It was great. It was absolutely fabulous. So, yeah, it's these modders that are like, you know, support me and you'll get access to my unreleased mods, right? Well, the instant you say that access to mods is a perk of a paid supporting membership or something, that's selling. That's selling the mods. If you never advertise that, oh, become a Patreon supporter, right? You'll get access to, let's say, a private Patreon supporter Discord. You'll get access to, you know, let's say live streams of me doing modding, right? You'll get to be able, you know, whatever, provide feedback, you know, make suggestions on new and upcoming projects, see early access, you know, images of what I'm working on, right? All fine and dandy. And if you just so happen to also give those members access to things that you've not released yet because you're still working on them, but you never advertised that a paid membership would give you that benefit, then you're not selling mods because you're not advertising that mods are an inherent perk of a paid membership. It's, let's just say it's a fringe benefit. Let's call it friends with benefits, if you will. Right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge type of a thing. But the instant you put it on paper, you know, a $5 a month Patreon membership will get you access to mods that I'm working on. Instantly, you've just put a price on it. Instantly. Or how about there was a guy in 19, or at least there was definitely a guy in 17, who waited until 17 was completely irrelevant. Then he released all his stuff for 17. Like, after it was completely irrelevant. And it was like, see, all these mods are public. I released them all. Right? Like, no, there needs to be some acceptable timeline between, right, when a mod is work in progress and when a mod is finished. Like, if you haven't worked on a mod in 2 weeks, then maybe it's done. Maybe it's not a work in progress anymore, because there's no progress being made. There's no work being made on it. Oh, well, I mean, you could pay for streaming services, you still get silly ads. Pay for Disney Plus, you still get ads. Pay for, what's this, Paramount, whatever, you still get ads. Hulu, you still get ads. Or you can pay even more and not get ads. Until they start to add that, you know, put ads on that. And there's that. Now we have to go over to field 14. If you didn't know, this is a possible player farm that you could buy here on the map. We'll zoom out. Here we are. It's Farmland ID 90. It's $214,000. Comes with a little field 62 and a fair bit of grass in behind it. Some forestry back there. Not really the easiest trees, but hey, they're still there. You got this great potential building site right in front of you. Oh, it's like ads are baked into the content. Yeah, I don't know, Chad, when we stopped having cable service, but it's been a while. And you know what? My kids, they don't care. The youngest, he watches YouTube. 99% of the time, he's watching people's stuff on YouTube. If he's watching something. You know, we've got Prime, and I don't watch any of it. We used to have Netflix. I think we canceled Netflix. I think the daughter pays for Disney Plus, and I think we pay for Paramount. But that's just, I mean, the wife watches that stuff. It's like when that map dropped Friday, I really didn't have any idea that it was the Clarkson farm map, because I don't watch the show. I thought it might be that because of the whole Lamborghini tractor thing, but I wasn't sure. That video got a fair number of views. I was really happy with its performance. I wonder if it got a ton of views because it's like, look at this idiot doing a video on this map and he doesn't say anything about it being Jeremy Clarkson Farms or whatever. That's what you get here. You get completely unbiased, totally clueless. I don't know. It's the one that just dropped on the mod hub. There we go. That's the easiest $6,000 you've ever made. Oh, what is this? Field 57. Serious? You're gonna give me... How much money are you gonna give me for that field? Yes, sir. I will take you. And what the hey, I'll take you too. I mean, if you want to give me a fortune to do these fields, I'll do it. So we're using the what's that new mod that came out that was all about variable contracts? Let me look. So it's Chipping Norton. That's the map that I was talking about. Chipping Norton. And the mod I'm talking about came out last week, I think. Maybe the week before. Oh, how could it be this far back? Changing wages. This is what we got activated. Yeah, that's parts of that. Changing wages is the map that the mod that we have activated. And apparently every day the wage that you get for your contract work changes. Some days they're extremely profitable contracts. Other days contracts are not that much worth looking at. Seems like today we're getting some pretty good income. I still hold that I think it's absolutely hilarious. The farm restaurant right there by the fields, and I can just see some uppities eating their uppity food, dressed in their uppity clothing, right next to the farm fields, right? And then, you know, it's a little breezy that day, and then just dirt. Let's say they're potato harvesting, right? And all that dirt from digging up all the potatoes just blows over on them. That would be hilarious. So it's called Changing Wages. And the description says, work has to be worth it. Unfortunately, the job market is very competitive. With this mod, wages on the labor market change every day at 6 a.m. Everything is possible from starvation wages to becoming a millionaire. And then I guess you can go into the mod and make adjustments to that as well. Well, look, I just got paid $2,000, and I went up and down a field. Well, that took like 20 seconds. I mean, fertilizing contracts are good money anyway. But that's some pretty sweet money. Sir, that is the exact type of gameplay that makes it exciting. You either work for pennies or you make a fortune. You never know what you can, oh yeah. You never know how much you can market yourself for. Right? Put yourself out there in the market. One day you're in high demand, the next day you're just, nobody wants you. Oh, pigs are awful. Pigs are awful. We had a pig farm that was close to us growing up, and yeah, you knew when they were spreading. Let's just say that. Oh, is that full? And then that's herbicide. Herbicide. Alright. Let's go to this other contract. Where they're going to give me $11,000 to go up and down a field 2.5 times. Yeah, I mean, poultry stuff is pretty foul, but pig stuff is, oh, it's a whole new meaning to right. Yeah, this is the first time I've looked at contracts. I mean, those aren't that great. You want to pay me $3,900 to weed 16 acres? No, look, I'm getting paid 11 grand to fertilize 4. Seriously. Yeah, you know. I'm not a big fan of the ocean to begin with. Couple that with, you know, the smell of decaying sea life. Yeah, I'm not really sure where the pleasure is in that. I thought the map was nice, Chipping Norton. Thought it was laid out nice. Kind of interesting setup. Captain Kiwi, welcome. Welcome. Does anybody know, was it a holiday in Germany today? Because I noticed no mods dropped today. I didn't know if maybe they were on holiday for a holiday. And then here in a couple weeks, they're going to be shutting down for the year. You know, the infamous mod drought of the end of December, early January. No holiday, nope. No major mod haul today. Yeah, we got that coming up. Oh, there we go. We went 1, 2, 3, 4 passes. $11,000. Ah, Kenneth, we got plenty of mods, right? We don't need any more. At least not for a couple of days. We got more mods than we've ever had for any farm sim prior to now. As I mentioned last week during the FS22 Turns 2 birthday party live stream, we have more mods released on console last week in 2 years of Farm Sim 22 than we had for the entirety of the Farm Sim 19 run to date, even. So PC's a little lacking behind as far as total mods released for PC. 19 still had mods, more mods released over its 3-year lifespan than Farm Sim 22's 2-year lifespan to this point, but they weren't off by much. But console was definitely ahead in FS22. So is Will talking about his Flatland, Kansas again? Alright, so we weeded, we fertilized. Now it's time to parsnip. Let's parsnip. So we're putting parsnips in these two fields. Fields 44 and 45. I've got potatoes in field 46. We put carrots. No, we put red beets in 72, 73, 76, and 77. And I'm going to put carrots in 47, 43, and 41. That's all the land that we own. And I put red beets in last month in April. I put the potatoes in what month? I put potatoes in March. So potatoes in March. Red beets and sorghum were put in April. Parsnips are put in May, and our carrots we're going to put in June. So hopefully this fall we will have a good spread of when things come to harvest. Now, what's interesting is when I was doing this before the stream, I was planning at 6 miles an hour. I don't know why suddenly it's slower. Crossblade says he hasn't gotten any weeds on those fields either. We'll see, we'll see. We'll see what we get. Over here we've got a couple little spots. I got a couple little spots in these fields, but nothing worth really bothering with. They got a couple of spots here and there. Got a couple of spots over here. At the ends, but so yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll finish up our parsnip planting, then we'll advance another month. We'll see where we are with our soup and start working on our carrots. Well, this whole contraption will work at 6. We should probably do maintenance on our tractor. Yeah, it gets the job done. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money to buy the 6-row ridger, nor did I have the horsepower to buy the 6-row ridger. So I didn't go with the 6-row planter. We just went with this combo. That's a pretty good price off of that, but if you need 550 horsepower. We got plenty of fuel. It's not red. I don't have maintenance at the farm. I'll have to go to the shop and do a little maintenance. But we got probably 1, 2, 3. We got maybe 4 more passes on the field. Jason, that sounds right, although I didn't think you could hook up 3 planters. I thought that allowed you to hook up 2. Now I guess you could go to extremes so you can connect 2 of the tandem tools to a tandem tool, and then you can hook up 4 things to the second tandem tool, or the second set of tandem tools. Oh, well, Captain Kiwi. I mean, that's a different story, right? Right there. Right there, you need to fuel up before you go on the field every day. Every day you need to fuel the tractor up. Now, if you run the tractor out of fuel in the afternoon or evening because you've worked it all day, I could see that. But I did most of this field in about 45 minutes before the stream started. What's Hoof GP? What's that? So yeah, we got 1 and probably a part pass left. What is up? How is it up there? Oh. Does he give a discount on the hoof trimming if he runs out of fuel? I think it's going to be in the 20s tonight here. Not near as cold, but well, it sounds like a normal Virginia to me, Virginia day to me. Highs in the 60s, lows in the 20s. 50-degree spread from night to day is not it's not a big surprise. I think it's supposed to be upwards to 60 this Saturday, which is good. That's when our kid's birthday party is. As long as it's not windy. Right? As long as it's not windy, then it's good. See a carrot. So I tried to plant these out as evenly as I could. I think I might be a little short on parsnips compared to the carrots and red beets. We probably won't see. We won't see snowy weather until who knows when. Our oldest was just saying the other day on the way home from Thanksgiving dinner that she remembers maybe 2 white Christmases. They're extremely rare here. Still to last more than a couple hours is fairly rare. Alright, last pass. Then we're going to maintain our tractor. See how much money that costs. I'll fuel it up for your sake. Even though we're good to go. We won't be baling any this year. Not unless we do contracts. Because we don't have, we're not putting any grain in. You know, the environmental folks would say global warming. Yeah, that would be a very unique experience for us. Alright, let's go do some maintenance. Yeah, our big thing is if we have a big snow, usually it's because a storm found its way into the valley and ran up the valley and dumped its whole, you know, all its contents within the valley. We've gotten We've gotten snowstorms where we've had 3 or 4 feet in one dump. And that has sometimes stuck around for a couple weeks. And then it's a big mud pit after that. Yes, Trophies, thank you for the sub. If you're hanging out in chat, say hey. We want to say thank you. So where we are, we're in a valley, and a lot of the weather will stall out. It'll hit the western mountain range, and it will stall out and it'll dump all of its load on the West Virginia side of the mountains. They'll get dumped on. We'll get a dusting, if anything. Our biggest threat is if something's coming up from the south and basically ends up getting funneled in the valley between the two ranges, then it doesn't have anywhere to go. So it just dumps its huge load of snow all the way up through the valley. Alright, let's go get fixed. Deer, get out of the road. Get out of the road. Yeah, I was saying to Captain Kiwi earlier when David was around that the idea that, you know, it's summertime down there. The idea that, you know, Christmas is in the middle of your summer is just really weird to think about. Oh no, I'm betting more like 15. $6. That's the deal. I thought it'd be more. We got nearly 20 hours on this thing. That's a heck of a winter vacation. Let's change this over to carrots. Top off the seed. And before we do that, nope, we're good. Let's do it. Let's do it to it. All right, what's on sale? Nope, 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 nope. Nothing good. How we doing our eggs? All right, let's see. Do we have weeds here? Nope. No weeds on our parsnips. Do we have weeds here? Nope. Do we have weeds over here? Nope. Let's put our sprayer away. I mean, that's not a bad price. Field 84, where is that at? I mean, that's... I'll take it to lock it in. I'll do it later. Where's my weight? All right, let's go. Only 2 more trips. See how much money we make off our zoop today. I passed away. I'm sure I passed it. Tell you what, winter here on the map, it was really nice. I did a lot of the winter work offline, but winter was really nice. Thought it went well. Hey! Jeez, people. Money's been down on our soup over the summer. Not a lot of people want to buy soup when it's warm out. Yeah, the leaves on the road was really nice over the winter. And kind of the frosted grass and everything. It'll be interesting to see what's the next farm sim, and if you know, will Silver Run Forest in this map be part of the base maps for the next? Why would I stop? There we go. Nice $2,300 in selling crates. We got one, two more pallets to drop. There we go. All right, who wants to give me a good price? Farmers market. Which is convenient, because it's right over there. $26,000 liters of soup between triple soup, carrot soup, and parsnip soup. $30,000. Corn, sorry, that is not. This is not an auto load for console. We're using a script mod called Universal Auto Load that adds auto load functionality to base game flatbed trailers. It is through the power of scripts that makes it so powerful and useful. Because one trailer can load pallets, one trailer can load logs, one trailer can load bales. I don't need 3 different trailers. I can load square bales, round bales, big bales, little bales. But yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the auto loads. Or the auto fill, I call them. I like these because we're literally taking the pallet from the ground, putting it on the trailer. We have lots of options. Oh, there's my weight. Like right now it's set to only load full pallets, but I can change it to load, you know, any pallet, full or partial. There we go. And you'll see, right, you'll see when I load the trailer, it gets the weight. Right, it took the weight. So it's you know, it's actually there. Oh, Walter, I don't know anything about straw harvest. Supposedly this year. Right? That's about the only thing I know. Supposedly this year. Do I want to go this way or do I want to go that way? I mean, it's kind of a square field. I feel like this way would be easier. Yeah, that's why I'm going this way. I felt that this way would be easier to make my turns, because in theory this field will be harvested after the parsnips here in front. So come harvest time for my carrots, the parsnips will be not, well, they won't be there, right? They won't be in the way. Because that side, there's a drainage ditch and those trees right at the field edge. The potatoes will be gone long ahead of the carrots. Parsnips will be gone ahead of the carrots. And I don't really care about that field. I don't know. You can see how close that drainage ditch is over there. It would make going that way pain in the butt to turn around. Yeah, I mean, that field, we went that way, obviously, because it was longer that way. We'll have to deal with a ditch over on the other side of the street. But here we go, practicing our strip planting. Possible thanks to guided steering. Right? Fabulous quality of life mod. Hopefully, the next farm sim will introduce a form of GPS for console players. Yeah, that's what I thought. This field is pretty darn square. All right, later, Chad. Thanks for hanging out. Good luck out there. Hunting the tree rats, the tree varmints. Now you can really see the close proximity of the ditch to the field. But I like to plant this way because it's faster, in my opinion. You can make turns pretty quick because you're not trying to make the tightest turn. You just loop it around. And then we will come back and make a second row right beside these. Just like that. We like to call it pretty little pattern farming. Rob Ross had pretty little trees. I have pretty little stripes. It would be interesting out Tony Gaming. I mean, you know, it's frustrating that the code for like the pianos and the boats and the roller coaster is hidden away in DRM protected files. So, you know, people can't really do anything about it in 22. Hopefully modders will be able to get access to that type of stuff in the next release, and then it'll be seeing what types of interesting and amazing things they come up with. I've made the suggestion to Giants, and others have backed me up in that I think it's a really great idea, but to release a building pack that uses that functionality for your farm buildings, right? So instead of plopping a shed down, right? Imagine putting down the slab. Imagine putting down the concrete slab and then having to deliver metal rolls and logs and beams to your new building site, which is the shed slab that you put down, and to build your own farm shed. Imagine the homesteading type of gameplays you can get, where you start with a very, very basic farmhouse tent, a trailer, a caravan, whatever you want to call it, and you build your farmhouse. You build your first few little machine storage buildings, your outbuildings. You build your cow barn. And then as you progress, as you build your farm, right, you can build more larger buildings. They're a little bit more expensive. Right, take that build production and really expand it. You could, corn, you could. Right, put down your own concrete slab for your silo, and then deliver metal rolls. If you're going to do a corrugated ridged metal silo like you see off in the distance there at our farm. Or if you don't want to do the metal production, you don't want to do the sawmill stuff, then make it buyable, right? We had on Silver Run Forest where you could buy certain sawmill stuff at one of the sawmills, right? So you have a lumber shop. You have a lumber shop at the on the farm, not the farm, but on the map, and the lumber shop will sell you at a premium price your metal beams, your planks, and stuff that you could deliver if you didn't want to make it yourself. But there we go. We're just going to slowly fill it in, all these, until we've got a full field. Yeah, that was Alien Jim. Had buildable buildings where you put the buildings down and they had like all the walls right stacked up on the slab, and then you hit a trigger, and then there would be an animation as all the building pieces would fall into place. Yeah, the running water on Silver Run Forest is amazing. I'd like to see the stones, you know. Somebody the other day asked about stones, the crushable stones, and the tree cutting contracts for platinum. Yeah, it'd be nice to see those. I like to see more around orchards. You know, we have drawable olive trees and grapevines, right? You know, we can place those down. We can place our grapes down. I like to be able to draw out, apple trees, or pear trees, oranges, right? And just do fruits. Well, yeah, Crossblades. That's been a stick of contention. Is you know, things in DLC are locked behind DRM. They're locked behind encryption in pretty much every modern country. You know, it's a violation of the law to break DRM, to break copy protection. So the only way to get access to those features is to is to break the law and break into the DRM, to crack the DLC. And that's not something that, you know, I would support or condone. Sadly, there are people that are doing that in order to get access to those things. What I would like to see is, I would like to see Giants embrace opening up content like Platinum expansion, like the premium edition here with the soccer field, the football field, where we have the ability to kind of play football and keep score on the scoreboard. The stones, the running water, the visual assets, the new trees, both on this map, Silver Run Forest, the grass textures on those two maps. It would be really nice if they would open those up in such a way that individuals who owned the DLC, who bought it legitimately, could use the DLC assets to build out their own creations and share those creations on the Giants Mod Hub or independently. But the caveat is, in order to make use of those creations, the player also must own the content. So if Will, who's a map maker, if Will owns the Platinum expansion and wants to put in stone contracts where you have to crush up stone on, let's say, a field that's been abandoned, has trees in it, you know, there's stones that are there, whatever. He could do that because he owned the Platinum expansion, and it would become a requirement of someone that wants to play on that map to also own the Platinum expansion. The only thing I see that doing is selling more copies of the Platinum expansion. Because people will do what they want to do. And if people want access to the stuff that's locked behind DRM, they will find ways to get it, legally or not. But if you give someone an easy legal way to do something, 9 out of 10 times they'll take that route, because intrinsically people are lazy and people will take the easy way out every chance they can get. So we've seen this in reality. We've seen this with pirated music. Right? I'm old. When I grew up, we had cassette tapes. I'm not quite old enough to have owned a car with an 8-track. I am old enough to have ridden in a car with an 8-track. But I'm not old enough to have owned an 8-track player. And, you know, Then we had CDs. You know, back when we had cassette tapes, we would have our radio on, we would have our cassette tape in the tape deck, right? And we'd hit record in order to make our mixtapes of the songs we liked so we could listen to them later off the radio. And then we took our CDs and we copied the CDs onto cassette tape. We dubbed them onto tape. You know, we took CDs and we ripped the CDs and we used a CD burner to make copies of the CDs. And then Napster came along, MP3 players came along, and ripping audio discs wasn't necessarily the easiest thing to do. So, you know, the easiest way for people to get access to MP3s, well, let's use the internet, the budding internet, and to use these file sharing services to search for music and download it. And that was extremely popular. And then Apple comes along with their iPod. And then Apple comes along with their music store. And suddenly there's an easier way of getting your MP3s on your device. Right? For, I don't know, $1.99. I don't know what these albums cost back then, but you know, for a couple bucks, 99 cents a song, maybe $4.99, $5.99, I don't know, to buy an album. Right? You could legally buy an album and just with a couple of clicks download it to your MP3 player. Make playlists, right? And then, not overnight, but pretty short order, file sharing sites over the course of a year, 2 years. They still exist. Sure, people still use them. But the vast majority of folks find it far easier to just grab it from, well, what used to be the Google Music Store, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Amazon Music, wherever you buy stuff these days. So I would like to see Giants open it up more, provide documentation to mappers and modders. You know, I don't have it activated, but the fast bale, the Vicon fast bale, that allows you to bale non-stop round bales. That was in a Vicon Couverland DLC in 19. That's that one implement. That one implement sold who knows how many copies of that DLC. Because people wanted an easy, fast way of making round bales without having to stop every 10 seconds. Well, people wanted to make mods, right? They wanted to make a modded variant of that, but they couldn't because it was locked behind DRM. But imagine if someone could make a modded variant of that fast bale, but in order to be able to use that modded variant of the fast bale, you had to have the underlying DLC for which that equipment was a part of. Right? All it's going to do is sell more copies of the DLC. And Walter, that may be the ultimate reason. Right? They don't want to put DLC requirements around mods and maps. I would continue to argue that from a business perspective, they'll sell far more copies of the DLCs than they will lose or alienate players. That very few, if anyone, is going to be buying Platinum expansion for Silver Run Forest or Premium expansion for Zielonka. I mean, there might be people out there, but they're probably few and far between. But there's likely a larger population that would maybe not initially buy Silver Run Forest because they really weren't that into forestry. But let's say some hot mapper out there decides to incorporate Silver Run Forest trees, decides to incorporate the tree contracts, or the really cool fog clouds that you see in the morning on the map, or wants to implement a variant of the build your roller coaster thing on their map. And so this hot to trot mapper does this. It becomes an internet sensation. All the content creators are just oogle eyes over this creation, and that's all you see from tons of creators is this map that. People will want to play the map, and people will end up buying the DLC in order to be able to play the map. And there will be some that'll be angry. There will always be some that'll be angry that they can't get access to something that they want access to because it's locked behind a paywall. And maybe there'll be folks who are just not in a financial position, to afford the $20 DLC to play on a map. And sadly, there's some folks that probably change maps faster than they change underwear. And as a result, would put in 10 or 15 hours into the map and then just leave it for the next hotness. But there are plenty of others that would put hundreds of hours into it, right? That's the sad thing about maps is often map makers will spend hundreds of hours, maybe even thousands of hours in fine-tuning their creation. But most of the players will abandon it within tens of hours. Yeah, Joey, and then comes streaming services like Spotify, right? Where you don't even need the files anymore. It's just there. because nowadays we're ambiguously always connected. I was telling a younger staff member today in the office about, you know, his dad has a home theater, surround sound system. He likes to go and watch movies there and plays the movies really loud, you know, big subwoofers, loud noises. I said, well, that's his generation. It's kind of my generation too, right? If you want to go do something, you probably want to do it in a special room, right? This is the room where we watch movies. This is our home theater. And he's younger. He's in his young 20s. And his generation's, I just watch something wherever I am, right? I'm fine watching it on my phone, watching it on my tablet, watching it on my laptop, right? The idea of having to go somewhere and sit down in a specific place to watch something doesn't appeal to him in any way. So he doesn't want to be constrained. I was like, yeah, imagine a time, imagine back in the day when you went to the grocery store, you were totally inaccessible, right? If you went to the grocery store and then someone called the house, you know, to the landline, and they're like, yeah, is your dad home? And they'd be like, no, he's not home, he's at the store. And like, okay, well, this is an emergency. Is there any way to get a hold of him? He'd be like, no, he's not home. Like, I can take a message and tell him when he gets home. He's probably be home in the next couple hours. Right? But you're not home. You don't have a phone. Phones were at houses. You know, connected to wires. But we live in a ambiguously always on, always connected world. Yeah, so see here, this field, we got to deal with this ditch. With our harvesting. Do you listen to AM stations in the car? And then you know if you have like electrical leaks, you know, with your spark plugs or your ignition system, because you get the engine rev in the radio. Corn, I think you're on console, right? From your other question. The Will makes maps that he releases for PC. Alright, well, we are going to continue this planting endeavor. I've got this field here to finish. I've got the white limed field directly in front to finish. And then that will be all of our fields planted. I'll go ahead and finish off that fertilizing contract. And we'll be back another day. Keep an eye out on the channel, depending on if Giants drops a map or not. I don't plan on streaming tomorrow, but keep an eye out just in case Giants drops a map. We'll have that map video published tomorrow evening. And if everything works out well, we'll hopefully be back on Wednesday night for Farm Sim. And I'm leaving Thursday open because we might live stream ATS's launch of Kansas Thursday night. That's still kind of playing it by ear, so just keep an eye out on the channel. Keep an eye out on our secondary channel, FK's Funhouse. That's where we will be doing the ATS stream on Thursday if we do one. And until next time, happy farming.